Hey everybody, we are here in the Facebook group. I'm excited. I saw Linda comment. What's up going on, Linda? I'm excited that we've got Christmas coming up, and we thought we would provide a little bit of a resource here in our SCC Digital Ministry Support Network, um, and just kind of look at what Christmas is going to look like this year. So I'm guessing that Christmas is going to look a little different for you than previous years, because it sure is for me and for our church. And so, as we're all kind of in this together, our goal for our digital ministry support network is that each of us kind of share ideas, share what's working. Some of us know more about one kind of technology or one kind of platform than another. And this is a place where you can come and ask questions, even ridiculous questions that you think might not quite, you're not sure if you should ask them, right? So we're going to provide resources regularly. By no means are we experts, but we want to dig into different topics that we do know about. And one of those is really Christmas. Like, what are we going to do with Christmas coming up? So there's a few things you're going to see on screen. One is it's this side. All right, is this balloon right here, right? So this is a QR code. If you grab your phone and you scan it, you scan that code, then it will pop up at the top of your phone a little link, and it'll open a page on the conference resource website full of the resources we're talking about today. And we're going to gradually populate some of these resources there as well. So you can send that page to some of your volunteers and things like that. So one of the things we really want to do is we want to make sure we take some time also and talk and ask questions. We want this to be super interactive. So as people are slowly trickling in, or if you come across this stream later, right, maybe you weren't able to be here live and you're like, okay, I'm catching up now. Feel free to still type in any questions, and we'll come back around, loop back around to things as we're through here. But there are four kind of big steps, we think, into preparing for Christmas. This is such a different time of year, but such an amazing opportunity. So the first one is going to be covered by Icky, and Icky's gonna kind of introduce us to what it means. There's everybody. This is our esteemed panel. What's going on, guys?
Good to see you, Tim.
Yeah. And Icky and Lauren and Danny, we're all going to kind of break down different things for us here, right? So,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Everybody ready for Christmas?
Yep. We are.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, Icky's going to kind of dig into some of the setup, some of the technological pieces. And so this is going to be super helpful for a lot of us, including me. So
speaking of which, Tim, talking about technological issues.
We
had a bit of an adventure trying to get on here just a few minutes. You know, it's crazy. Nobody ever knows what happens like off screen, but us trying to get on here, getting booted back on, it's been a little bit of a trip. So it's good to see all of you on here. It's actually good to see you all.
We feel your pain. Whatever technology things that you experience, we experience them too.
That's right.
That's right.
Total authenticity going on here.
Absolutely. In fact, if you get booted, that's technology for you.
If one of us just disappears, we will try and be back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, Icky, take it away, because I know we want to maintain. We want to target like 30 minutes or so, and so we want to keep this train moving as quickly as we can. But dig in, because you are a tech geek. I say that in all fondness, and because I love it. And so, what do you got for us? Talk to us a little bit as Christmas is coming up.
Let's do it. Okay, so my portion of the content here in this section is really to talk about the equipment, the gear, the background, your backdrop, all that kind of stuff that's going to be helpful. You're going to get engagement from the others about preparation, experience, follow-up. But in this portion, I really want to get us going. So to preface this, I want to take a quick moment for us to look at this particular diagram that we've got up here for you. Okay, so I'm gonna pop up a diagram. Boom, right here. Okay, so what you and I are looking at is how we used to interact and preach and communicate pre-COVID and how we interact, engage, and preach post-COVID. So the way we communicate has really shifted. We were all meant to be preachers. You went to school, you got a homiletics course, you did your Old Testament, your New Testament theology. So your place where you're gifted at is in the place of knowing how to create sermons and communicating that. But you didn't in the past have to create your audience, because we came into a place where the audience was already available for us. As you can see, before COVID, we came into a neutral space, and the audience or the congregation came into that same space, and then we were able to deliver what we had. We never had to worry about that space, that neutral space. But the way it is now, we have to actually meet our audience, our members, our congregation, and the public in their space, which means we've moved out of our neutral comfort zone into their comfort zone, which could be in their car. It could be while they're watching Netflix. It could be while they're running errands, shopping. So you and I not only have to have good content that keeps them here, but we've got to be able to have the technology and the resources and the ability to reach them where they're at. Now that part is a little tricky because you and I weren't tech gurus. We didn't have courses on how to run your XLR cables and how to do your DSLR into your computer and what bit rates and resolution you need to do. That's not, we didn't go to school for that. So, what we need to, gaming on the side. Exactly, Linda, exactly. So what we need to do is we aim to try to get you all up to date a little bit. Some of you here are rocking it. You're killing it right now. And for that, congratulations. You know exactly what you need to do. Most likely you're a millennial or someone in that age group because you grew up with this tech. For those of us Gen Xer and older, it's going to take a little bit for us. My goal is to be able to give you some pieces today that'll help you with your stream. Some of you have a team of people. We're not so worried about you because you've got a team. Some of you are younger. You got this down. We're not too worried about you. It's those who are pastoring right now who you need to get into this. Christmas is coming and you need the gear, okay? The first tip I could give you is this. Stop waiting. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Don't wait till you figure it all out. Don't wait till you've learned enough, till you gain enough gear. If whatever you got right now, I guarantee you can start a stream and you can do it for Christmas. You don't need to have like the expensive gear. You just need to get started, okay? So that's number one. Just get started. It doesn't have to be perfect, but your peoples do have to see you and they have to know that you are trying. Okay, so you're going to up your quality when you can, but start where you're at. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into some gear. And what I want to do is I'm just going to show you the gear. There's about 5 areas that I'm going to touch on. I'm moving kind of quick because we want to be able to cram all this in the 30 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and we'll get to them at the end. We'll go through the questions and answer for you, okay? So we're going to talk about gear. First things first, audio is king. Audio is king. People will deal with a okay picture if the audio is good, but they will not tolerate listening to something that's bad. Okay, so you need to have good audio. When you think about your stream, when you think about your recording, think good audio. And I'm always going to give you, as we go through our 5 areas, I'm going to give you free, cheap, and then a better quality. So free is simple. You could use your iPhone, your Android, you could use your computer, your PC, your laptop, your Mac. All of those have microphones in it. However, I highly suggest you do not use those, okay? The lowest I would start is using your little headphones. The ones that have a jack on it. Maybe it has an iPhone jack. Maybe it's got a TTRS or whatever they call those that goes, like just a 3.5 that goes in. But use these. Why? Because number one, these are double. You can use these for in-ear monitor. Okay, that cuts down on echo, and it also has a little microphone inside so that when you're talking, the mic here processes the sound much better. These are free. You probably got them with your phone, so you could use these. And then as you're moving along, you might want to step your game up a little bit, which I highly suggest you do. This is about $150. This is a Yeti. Okay, Blue Yetis, they're good all around, all purpose, nice and strong. This guy here is what we call an Apogee. It is also, these are your step up from your earphones. These are USB. So USB microphones go straight from the mic into your computer so that you don't need a mixer board. This is the real simple. You just plug in, and then it goes from a micro USB into the USB drive inside your computer, and you've got really good sound. This guy's about $300, really good sound. But if you really want to step your game up, you buy an audio mixer. Right now, I'm running out of a brand new one. It's kind of a field device, but it's also an audio mixer. It's called the H8 Zoom. You can get a Rodecaster Pro. And then what that does is it allows you right now, if you can see in my shot right here, this is and I put it here on purpose so that you can see it. Usually you'd want these out of the shot, but it is a NTG 4 Plus. It runs on an XLR cable. The cables that you use in the mics from the church runs down into the audio mixer. The audio mixer then compresses it. It translates the process, and then it moves it into your computer. And that's audio. Okay, so make sure you take care of your audio. Please do that. Okay, the second thing that we want to talk about real quick is your camera, or the thing that captures your video. Once again, the free solution is your Mac or your PC has a little computer camera. You can use that. Most of those are about 720 though or less, so the picture isn't really good, especially in low light. But that's free. You need to do it. You can do it that way. Your phone. The new iPhones have such high, all the new smartphones have such a high res on them that if you use the camera on the back that's facing out, you can get a really good picture. In fact, probably better than a lot of our DSLRs. So you can do that. And those are free because you already own those things. But you might want to say, hey, I want to kind of up my game. I don't like my little computer laptop camera. Pick up a webcam. Webcams are pretty inexpensive. You can get one under $100. It'll give you 1080p. It might even give you 4K for about $100. 4K, that's phenomenal. So just keep that in mind. Then you might say, okay, I want to keep stepping my game up. Well, you do this. You can pick up a DSLR. This one's 4K, so the 4K res is beautiful. Then you just run a cable out of it. It's an HDMI cable, and it'll run into a capture card, a capture device of some sort. I've got this one. This one actually only costs $20. So it takes a 4K signal, and then it translates it. It's a video card, translates it into your computer, and you get a beautiful picture. I'm running right now. I'm using the Canon EOS T7i, and I'm running it through an HDMI cable into a video capture card right into my computer, and that's your picture. So you can start with something as simple as your computer, and you can work your way up to a webcam, into a DSLR, plug it in, beautiful picture. Okay, we're gonna move on. Lighting. So lighting is important. It's terribly important, and a lot of times you don't even think about it when you're watching, but you know when it's good because you can tell the picture is really good. So you want to get some good lighting. Here's the thing. You can start for free. This is a desk lamp. A desk lamp I bought at Target. It's like $10. The light that comes out of this bad boy, LED, never gets hot. You buy 2 of these. One is for the front of your face. You would angle it up just a little bit and shooting down here because that's the best looking picture, to be honest. You don't want those shadows coming from the bottom. And then you put the other one that you buy, if you buy 2 of these, one above you or behind you. Why do you do that? Real simple. The lighting above you separates you from your background and gives you a depth of field, right? So you notice I've got 2 lights in the back. I've also got this guy up here. I'm going to turn them on. It's a little bright, but once I turn it on, you can already begin to see, you see how it begins to give me a certain glow, pulls the depth of field for me. So you want to do that, and you can do that with one of these, $10, no problem. You've got a lamp at home. I'm sure it's almost free if you did that, all right? Then you can step your game up. You can buy a ring light. Ring lights are kind of in, but they're overused. So if you get a ring light, put a sheet, one of your white bed sheets over it, and it disperses the color so it's much softer, and it'll make you look really good. It won't give you those rings around your eyes either. And of course, you can keep stepping up your game. There's all kinds of LED dispersion lights. There's like soft boxes. Aperture makes a beautiful one, but you need a lot of space for it, okay? But you can see lighting is important. I'm going to keep moving here because I think I've already passed my time, but my friends have let me keep going here, so I'm going to finish this off. Okay, so you want to think about your backdrop. Backdrops, please. If you're going to shoot somewhere, make sure it's clean. it's organized, it's non-distracting. Because when people are watching you, they, think about if you were preaching in your church, you would not have a gymnastics team doing gymnastics behind you. Nobody would be paying attention to you. You wouldn't have a pile of junk in your background in your scene when you're preaching, because you want them to stay focused. Same here. And it's more intense because you're in a really small box that they're watching. So make sure things are put away, make sure things are clean. Obviously, if you looked outside around me here, it would be crazy, but right here, we're good and nice and clean. And finally, you need to somehow put this out into the world. Some kind of platform will be really helpful. What we're doing it on now is Zoom. Facebook. So you can Facebook, you can Zoom meet with your peoples, you can put it on YouTube, on your YouTube channel, but all of these things, you need to decide where you're gonna put it out to. For me, and for most of us, at this point, we're using Ecamm. Ecamm Live is a phenomenal production platform. Super easy. If you're on a Mac, that's the way you go. There's no better platform for you right now than Ecamm Live. If you're on a PC, StreamYard, OBS is a good way to go. Those are strong and good on that platform, but nothing comes close to your Ecamm. And if you want to do like, hey, I would love to show my program on Facebook and on YouTube. Well, there's a way to do that too. It's called simulcasting. You'd need a program like Restream, and you can go to restream.io, look it up, and in that program there, you'll be able to do, Restream pulls it in, and then it shoots it out to 2 or 3 other platforms. That's what I got for you. Hopefully, you'll be able to use this as you prep up for your Christmas time. God bless you guys. Put your questions in the comments, and we'll talk more about it at the end.
Thanks, Icky.
No worries. Yeah.
That's awesome. Don't worry, man. You have a glow naturally, so don't even sweat it. You don't even need that light, man. So I want to kind of take us further, and as Icky said, like, throw some questions down in there. That was a lot of content, and we're gonna really dive into tech come January, the first Tuesday in January. We're gonna dive into the nuts and bolts that he just flew by. If you just heard a bunch of letters like strewn together, you're not quite sure what those letters mean. SLR or things of that nature, right? And so we'll dive into all of those kind of from a real basic, straightforward level on January 5. So you're not going to want to miss that. I want to kind of take it a little bit further, and I want to talk to you a little bit really quickly about really engaging your attendees. Some of you are both outside and online. Some of you might be just outside. I want you to consider being also online. I know here, over here at our church here at North Hills, we have about 40% of our attenders are present at our outdoor service, but 60% are online. So we have 2 primary audiences. It's almost 50-50. What do you do? How do you engage everyone? So just a few quick tips. One, you really want to engage conversationally, right? We want to be able to kind of talk back and forth a little bit, or at least have that feeling. And so that means you don't want your online audience today to feel like they're a secondary audience. You want them to feel like a second primary audience. And that means a little tighter camera shots. You want to look through the lens to the people that you're talking to, right? You want to not just kind of glance at it and then move around and talk to everybody that's live and kind of ignore. You want to do a little bit of engagement right at the lens. Look through it. Imagine the people that are on the other side of it. Do some things that allow you to kind of keep things tight. Practice those openings. Remember, attention spans for a multitude of reasons are shorter for online viewing. That means if 50% or more of your attendance, or a good chunk of your attendance, is online, we got to tighten up. Like, I can talk a long time, right? I'm a preacher. We're all some preachers, and we can get ourselves rolling a little bit. Really tighten up those sermons, build in some feedback moments. Hey, everybody, what is your favorite Christmas memory? Type it in the comments if you're online. If you're here present, say it to the person you're sitting next to. Build in some feedback moments so it's more interactive and people stay engaged. And then one of my favorite things is like people to be online and to talk to everyone else that is online. Just say, hey, would you go on? Would you offer prayer to people, see how people's weeks are going, ask questions, keep conversation going? Like, would you interact, be a host for our people online, right? So that's kind of provide some ways to engage conversationally. Another area you really want to do is you want to engage families. According to Barna, only about 49% of churches are offering anything for kids online, period. That means the next generation of believers, in one of the most critical times in their life, has had a total absence of the church, right? This is a big deal. This is really on my heart. And so make sure you're providing resources. There's a lot of different companies out there that provide resources, even if it's just something for parents to do at home, or something that connects to your service that engages kids in a way. There's great platforms like Playlister that allow you to put up content on your website that can be on demand, and you can change it. Volunteers can change it really easy. Or there's prepackaged stuff from Orange or Growing Together, or all sorts of different things. But find a way to engage whole families, and find ways to be helpful. Ask them, what are you dealing with? What is it that you're dealing with? And how can we help? The third thing is engage early. Like, start engaging them this week when you want to talk about your Christmas plan. When it comes to your Christmas service that's going to happen, either, I don't know what your Christmas service is, since the 26th is a Saturday, the day right after Christmas. Whichever of those you're really going to focus on, really engage early. Share stories about how it's important to invite friends, or there's a cool opportunity to invite friends to tune in together. Get some social media invitations going with some good graphics. You can go to places like churchmediadrop.com or open.lifechurch.com, and there's lots of free graphics that you can use, free roll-ins, free advertisement stuff. Create invitations, create videos if you have the know-how, right? Just get excitement rolling. Engagement starts weeks before our service. And so how can we get people engaged in Christmas and excited to bring a friend before Christmas comes around? And the fourth thing is engage diversely. Find some different ways that you can get everyone on the same page. Maybe it's a community giving project, and you can raise some funds or some food or something for a community nonprofit. Maybe it's putting together some kind of devotional to take people through Christmas, or setting them up for next year. Maybe it's just a public encouragement board, and you're like, hey, this is our shout out board, just to say, hey, I really appreciate this in someone, and that helps encourage community internally. I know one of the things we've done, we went around and we reverse Christmas caroled, right? We went to people's houses and had them, with the appropriate distance, sing us a Christmas carol, and then edited it together. And people want to know, oh, I wonder who sang, who's part of the video this week. So find different ways to engage so that we're providing content, but we're also providing care and connection to people, right? So if you have any questions on any of those kind of 4 areas, just throw them down in the chat. That's a lot of information. But I want to kick it over to Lauren, because she's going to take us deeper and connect some of these things together.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks so much, Tim. So as we talk about all of these different issues of production and engagement and all of this stuff, we want to talk a little bit about experience. And we want to talk about what our church members and visitors are experiencing when they come to our services, whether that's virtual or in person. So we'll spend just a couple minutes on this. So Icky has gone over the tech you need, some platforms you can use, and some of those items. Tim has talked about what engagement means, how to facilitate meaningful engagement. And so we're going to be talking about the experience, like I said. So when we think about this idea of experience, the main question that we want to be cared for, and how are our visitors being welcomed? How are we really communicating these items to people who are online as well as our people who are in person. When Icky and Tim talked about how our online audience really needs to be like one of our primary audiences, we can't keep it as an afterthought. And so we're going to talk about how we can really make that reality. So we want to talk about 3 different statistics first. Barna Research released some statistics in June of this year, after the pandemic was already well underway. So this is really relevant to what we're experiencing right now. So the first statistic talks about how 40% of pastors report an increase in attendance for live streamed services. So when services go online, when they're live streaming, there's an increase in attendance. And so when you think about that, we think that if attendance has been higher, maybe some more engagement and connection has been happening, or at least more opportunity for that. The fact that attendance has been higher with live stream services for the most part. What's surprising is that only in the same research study, only 30% of practicing Christians or churchgoers say that they have connected with one of their church leaders in the past month. And again, this was taken in June. So only about 1 in 3 people have connected with a leader in their church. And you might think, well, that's only about leaders, right? Most of the engagement and connection that happens is with fellow members and attendees. So surely the number is higher. But unfortunately, when we look at that information, the same study showed that only about 12 to 15% of churchgoers had connected by joining a small group Bible study or prayer meeting in the previous month. So with an increase in attendance, but a decrease in the level of connection and engagement, we know that we know that a big problem, if more people are there, but less people feel connected, something has to be going on. So there's a gap there that we need to fill. It's easy, as we talked about earlier, to put online ministry into its own category and to say that the computer and the camera can be off to the side. As long as it's catching us on screen, we're good. But I want to give you a little bit of a scenario and see if maybe we can think of it like this. So imagine that it's 2019. Imagine that nobody yet knows what COVID-19 is, right? We've never heard of that. And imagine that you're having your annual Christmas program and a visitor walks into your church for the first time. And imagine that when they do that, they find that the foyer is empty and activities for their children are nowhere to be found. Nobody greets them. Maybe when they take their seat, they can't quite hear the music very well. And for them to connect and share their prayer requests or respond by meeting with some of the other church members. Maybe there aren't those opportunities. Think about how alone and unwelcome this person might feel if this were the case in a normal situation in one of our in-person services. So when we look at it from that perspective, think about how obviously in an in-person situation, it's clear that each of these elements affect the person's experience, right? The engagement that they experience with church members, the greeting that they receive when they walk in the door, invitations that they get to connect and share their prayer requests, or as Tim was saying, to add some comments about how they relate to the topic being discussed. Programming for every level, age level in their family, and the production quality that allows them to see and hear the program clearly, helping them to feel included. It seems so clear that all of these elements need to be thought of, and we do think about them when we host in-person services. And back before COVID was a reality, we were regularly thinking about how all of these things happened in our in-person services. But now that we're in this situation, sometimes it's easy for us to think that because we're so used to what we did before, that our live stream might just be a temporary fix or just a supplemental part of our program. But I encourage you to think today about how your live stream and all of your online ministry, it's not just a necessary evil, if you will, or a temporary fix, but it can be the first step to a much longer relationship with your viewers and with your audience overall. So the last statistic I want to show you is kind of going into that point that when you think about your live streams and how they can lead into longer relationships, this study shows that around 30% of people who watch a live stream event decide that they'll into that year. So when you think about it, once we get back to what we remember as regular or normal in-person services, back inside regularly and all that stuff, the relationships that we have established and really poured into virtually during this pandemic are likely to be long lasting. A lot of those people that maybe we never met in person, but we fostered relationships with during our online ministry, maybe those people will become part of our services and they'll attend, and we can continue to grow those relationships, because once we start that engagement and we continue um, engaging and connecting and caring for them during our online services, they're not going to go away, but we can continue those relationships ongoing. So this is a really important aspect of ministry. As I wrap up, the last thing that I want to show you is this graphic that you'll see on your screen right now. When you look at this graphic, it talks about content production, the items of your program that you're sharing, the actual content. Care is how we show people that we care about what they're going through, what the needs that they have are, how we can meet them, right? And connection is inviting them into our church life and being interested in the experience that they're going through each day. How can we connect with them, invite them into small groups, and see what prayer requests they have and walk alongside them in that journey? So content, care, and connection really makes up what I like to call a three-legged stool. I'm sure you've heard this analogy before, but you know what happens when one leg is missing on a three-legged stool, right? There's no solid foundation. And so when we think about it like that, you look at all of the elements in this graphic, which we'll post a little bit later on the link from our QR code. So you can see this graphic a little bit more closely later if you don't have the chance to look through all of it right now. But when you kind of take a glance at it, you can see some of those follow-up moments, the different elements of our actual program, or the equipment that we use, or the way that we have what we call a host team to engage with them in the comments and ask questions through the program. All of these different elements and many more all connect together to create an inclusive and welcoming experience. So as you think about that, I invite you to just continue to ponder what it might look like to incorporate all of these elements, to focus on each one and remember how they work together, not to get too tunnel vision on one, but also not to be discouraged. As Icky said, this is a lot of information and you don't have to be an expert to start with what you have. So with that, I invite you, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and we'll get to them. And with that, Danny is going to give you some pointers on finalizing the details of your program, making sure everything goes as planned.
Thank you, Lauren. I really appreciate that. And just to kind of sum up what, the kind of the big picture, at the top, Pastor Icky talked to us about how can we move into people's space? How can we begin to visualize how people are engaging with us? Before, it used to be sitting in a pew. Now people are looking down in the palm of their hand and engaging with us either through a laptop or through a phone. And what technologies is it going to take for us to be able to connect with people? Then Pastor Tim talked about, well, can we think through who else is going to be part of that engagement? How can we involve children and family as part of the experience in a Christmas program? And then, as Lauren just mentioned, talking about all the different elements that blend together to make sure that we're not just providing content, but we're providing a connection. We're providing care for our church members and attenders in a meaningful way. So we begin to look at these events that we're putting and producing online, but thinking through how can these make a lasting connection with other people that are watching and the people that are helping us to produce these programs. So let's say that you have all that in place. You've settled on your format and your platform and the content that you're going to share on Christmas on a Christmas service program. What do you do next? Here's 4 things that I'd like to share with you. The first thing is that you want to finalize the details with your team. I think that you're getting the sense that we're promoting this idea that this is not a one-person show. This has to be something that you have to develop a team. It's going to take 2, 3, 4 tech-savvy people that are going to come together and say, hey, Pastor, I'm going to work with you on this, or we're going to have to reach out to people that can help us. And maybe it might be a teenager. It might be one of our children. It might be somebody in the church who has an interest in getting involved. Get them together and say, how can we put together something meaningful so that we can connect during the Christmas season? So then get that team together and say, all right, this is the plan. Okay, how are we going to, what's it going to look like day of? And walk through each of the different steps. Write a script so that they know kind of what's happening. Sometimes it's helpful to know, even in pre-recorded elements, if you ask somebody to do a prayer or to sing a song, if they know what's happening before or after, it might be helpful for them to say, oh yeah, kind of like what I just did. I said, hey, thank you, Lauren, for leading us in that. This could have been pre-recorded weeks ago, but if they know kind of what's happening before or after, if they know that where they land on the script, they can integrate better, and it can help the program flow a little bit better. So it's important to be able to walk through each detail before the actual program takes place. Once all that's set, what we would recommend is to do a final test. Do a final test or a dress rehearsal where you're going to test all of the technology, and you're going to test the audio and the microphones. You know, one of the worst things that we could do is say, oh yeah, I bought this new piece of tech and I'm going to plug it in minutes before the program where we haven't tested it. You know, actually for this program that we're setting up, I installed the program so that I could use my phone as an additional camera for this stream. And it worked. I tested it last night, but when we interfaced earlier today for this stream, it didn't connect. So I'm using the camera on my laptop, and it's not as good, but you know, that's what, you know, sometimes it happens. And you won't actually figure out all the kinks until you actually run a live test. Okay, so that's what we recommend. Final test, right? Make sure that you do it preferably during the same time of day, under the same lighting conditions, even like a light streaming through a window at a different time of day may kind of trick your camera, and it'll mess up the resolution or the you know, the exposure. And so testing things as close to the lighting environment, as close to the time of day, with all the connections, with all the streams, make sure that you're logged in and that everything's plugged in exactly the way that you'd like to run the test, the actual service. Run a final test. That'll be very, very important. And then as you're running your final test, as you're communicating the final details with your team, think through a very important step, which is a follow-up plan to connect with your audience. In fact, what is the plan to connect with your audience as the worship service is happening live? Designate a person or two to manage the feed. Let's say that you're doing this through Facebook or through Instagram or YouTube, and there's a comment section. Designate a specific person to only do that. They can manage the feed. So when someone says, hey, I really appreciate that, or thank you, brother, and then somebody engages with that person, say, hey, we miss you, thank you so much for logging on, how's the family, and then just kind of have a little connection there. You may decide to, during the actual service, provide a moment to connect. Okay, so provide moments is important for engaging an audience in a live program. You may set up some time and say, hey, at this time, take your phone and text somebody, wish them a Merry Christmas. Hey, reach out to somebody that you haven't, and allow for some time for people to literally connect with each other, because we're not just providing an informative program, we're wanting people to engage with each other and to connect. And then after the program, it's important for us to have a plan to follow up with people. Okay, so it may require designating somebody to say, hey, make sure that you take note of who actually logged on to watch the service. And if somebody keeps notes of that, then that will provide a way for you to be able to say, hey, Mrs. Smith, thank you so much for logging on with us. I hope that you have a great, great Christmas. Or, hey, Johnny, thank you so much. How's the family? You know, it'll provide a way for us to be able to engage with them later. And in order to do that, it might require for us to take mental note, or to actually write down who was part of the program. And then it'll also help us to remember who wasn't part of the program, who didn't participate live, And if there's a way for you to share that program later, to be able to say, I'm going to send this program to sister so and so. She wasn't able to log on live, but maybe she could watch it a little bit later. So those are important steps on to what is your follow-up plan to connect with your audience, either during the actual service or after the live program is finished. And then the final step is to evaluate. So after the service is done, a couple of days later, you get together with your team, you affirm them, you thank them, you say, hey, this was really, really meaningful. Thank you so much for devoting time. But how can we improve? How can we take what we did and just build on it? What were some of the connecting points that really resonated with our audience? And then to start looking ahead and say, hey, Easter's coming up. If we're going to do something like this, can we do something, should the situation not improve very much? We're still, sheltered in place. What can we do for Easter to make that a little bit special? And what elements worked and which ones didn't? And how can we improve? Again, I know we're sharing a lot of information. We're throwing a lot out at you. We just want you to know, hey, we're figuring it out too. We're trying to learn along the way. We've had our hiccups here, even through this live stream that we're doing. But that's how we learn. We evaluate. We learn to do things better, and hopefully you're finding things that are working for you. And hopefully we're finding that, that this has provided some way for you to consider doing some additional things as you develop a strong team to do these. Always keep in mind, we're not just providing online content. Keep thinking through how you can connect with people so that they feel cared for in some of your online programming.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny. That was great. So as Danny was saying, you guys, we're all in this together. So we want to take a little bit of time and just hear from you. If we flew right past the point that you're like, whoa, I missed something, or I want more information, or if you have something to add, I saw Linda mention Planning Center. That is a wonderful portal for connecting people and getting all the various elements put together with your volunteers. And we'll get those slides as well. Lauren and Nikki had some awesome looking slides, and we'll get those posted up on the website. What else is on your mind? Yeah.
So Harold asked about the slides, and like you were mentioning, we'll have them up. And the quickest way you can get there, actually, if you're watching right now, I don't think it's posted up now, but it will be soon. That QR code that you keep seeing pop up everywhere, if you just photo that QR code, it's going to take you straight to our link.
Yeah, and Lauren also posted it down in the comments, and so you can click on that if you need to. So, I mean, here's the deal, like, nobody has done ministry in this kind of a situation before, ever, in the history of the world. There it is. There's that QR code. Oh, is that Icky, or is that a QR code? No. Danny.
This is technology at its best.
Yeah. Hey,
and just to reframe the way that works is you just take your camera, go into your camera app, and then point the camera at this little QR thing, and then your camera will recognize that, and it will give you a web link that will send you to that digital ministry resource page. And it's growing. We're just starting it out. You're going to see it populate more and more as the days go on. So you might want to bookmark that and come back to it. But that's where we're going to place all these resources.
Yeah, we're also going to put there.
Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, So rabbit. Okay.
It's you.
We also just want to make sure that we're going to be posting on a regular, but this is supposed to be a space where we want you to grow professionally. Like we're trying to give you like the best tools that we're using, that we're struggling through with, that you can have, so that you too can struggle through it and grow. Right? Like that's what this platform is for. It's not for like the public. It's not open to like everyone to join this space. This is like literally for professional growth for pastors, because we want you to be able to up your game and feel good about what you're doing in the digital space.
Absolutely. One of the other elements that we're going to be posting on that site is a little PDF guide. We didn't create it. It was put together by Life Church, but it has these kind of 4 great steps on really getting ready. And the reason, like Christmas and Easter, they're big times. They're even bigger right now, because imagine all the people that could use a little bit of hope right now. Imagine all the people that could use some care and connection right now. It's immense. It's immense, and there are so many resources at our disposal. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, and sometimes we're not sure how to get from a piece of technology into someone's life, right? And how do you tie those two things together? And so we want to try and wrestle through some of that with you, because we're learning as we go. We're all experts in different things in some ways, and we've had exposure to various things, as have everybody here in the chat, and if you're watching afterwards. So let's
Ross,
get a lot of conversation going. Let's get conversation.
I want to thank Ross for pointing out that my signal is faint. Ross, is that my audio or my video signal? And can you guys notice that as well? Is that something that I need to work on over here? Is that my audio,
Yeah,
friends?
good question.
Can you all hear me okay?
It's always something with you, Icky. It's always
I
something.
know, I know. That's why you guys kicked me out of your region. I know, I get it. I get it.
So while we're waiting for that answer, hit up that QR code in the Facebook group that you're in watching this as well. Audio, there it is. Your audio is low. In the Facebook group, there are these modules. Lauren as well, your audio is low. There's some Facebook modules, and in that group, if you can find those modules, we're going to gradually populate some things there as well. And in those spots where we put that, we're going to put it kind of by topic according to the 5-6 topics that we put together there. So there's some intro videos, some links to some resources. We're just trying to help you connect in any way we can. And again, we're going to do this on a weekly basis starting in January.
Yeah.
So starting in January, that's I don't know what that is there. But,
too powerful. My bad.
So we're going to go in January 5th and January 5th. Mark your calendars right now. Just pull out your phones. Be like, okay, January 5 at 1 o'clock, I got to be in this Facebook group, so that I can connect and I can find some more resources. That particular day, we're going to dive into technology specifically. But every Tuesday, we're going to pick something different and just to kind of all grow together. I learned, and it's great to learn together. I learned a bunch of stuff today. So what questions? Anybody have any more questions?
Tim, I was thinking to put out there, also, if there's something you want to hear about or you need to learn more about, drop it to a comment to us or hit us up, email Danny or email whoever you need to. But probably best way to connect with us is, what's that? Do we have a central way that they can connect with us?
Just hit us up in the group. We should be really easy to find in the group. Just comment on a video. We're all monitoring it. I think that's probably the easiest. You're here already. Just type your comment.
Yep.
And we'll put that on the doc.
And I would say that, those of you, thank you so much for signing on live. We know that people are going to watch this at their convenience at another time. Just know that if you're watching this at any other time, feel free to comment still, because we're going to be monitoring this, and we hope to be a resource, not just when we're live, but throughout the rest of the week. So that if you have a question about what gear, or if you have a question about a recommendation, put it down on the comment field right now.
Yeah.
No matter what time you're watching this, and we're going to come back to it and hopefully get you an answer soon.
Yeah, we're all available to each other. It's not like any of us are doing this from a distance. So, like, if you need help setting your stuff up, if you have a small budget and you're like, I have questions, just post it out to, it doesn't have to be us, just post it out to this group page. If you find, like, a really good idea, if you're doing something that's fantastic, like Linda just said that they were using, what are they using?
Planning Center.
Planning Center, yeah. Planning Center. Put that into the actual posts in our group page, because you're going to help somebody else grow too. Like, somebody needs the stuff you got. So this is not about us training everybody. This is about all of us helping each other up our game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Other comments we have. Icky, you are still radiant.
That's my man. I love you, Ross.
Anything else? What are you guys wrestling with as we wrap up around here? At least the 4 panels comments. We'd love to hear from you. What is the biggest thing? I'm going to start real quick. So the biggest piece of thing that we're wrestling with over here right now is this last week, our encoder, which sends the signal to the cloud and then it goes out. Our encoder just turned off on us this last week. So it is literally on right over here. And I'm just watching to see if it will stay on all week long. And if so, but like there's crazy things like that. Are you guys dealing with any kinds of, maybe in the comments, are you guys dealing with any kinds of challenges recruiting people to help? Here's the deal. Okay, here's real. This is real. It's almost hard to stay motivated, right? Because we don't get the same feedback as pastors that we used to. It's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to stay engaged. It's easy to just kind of mail it in and be like, well, next Christmas we'll do something special. But let's not. Let's lift each other up. Let's share a bunch of ideas. Let's find ways to make Christmas special, make Christmas fun, and we can do that together.
Absolutely. Linda dropped something in there. She said she's learning Ecamm, learning about Ecamm. Excellent. Hey, Linda, hit me up after this. I got you, homie. I think all 4 of us at this point, but at least 3 of us are using it here on this platform, and it does a kabillion things. Yeah. One thing that I struggle with is that I basically man my own ship. So I do production and I do the front work and I do the content, Tim, and that's a pain. So I probably some of you understand how I'm feeling about this, but like you've got to like be your own light person. You got to tell yourself action and say that was whack, do it again, and that's a pain. And the second issue that I deal with is that I'm always broke. I don't know if anybody else deals with this, but tech can be expensive, man. And I got no kind of cash. I'm not like Danny. Danny's rich. He's a region director. They get a budget. They live in large. And so I've got to find ways to use my lamp at home to make things work, and that can be a struggle. But it's worth the push when you see the content that comes out and it looks good.
Yeah. I'm new to Ecamm too, so maybe just an Ecamm tutorial for one of our Tuesdays would be a good thing to dig into.
Absolutely, for sure.
And my only suggestion, recommendation would be whatever platform you're using, whatever new thing that you add, practice. Definitely get familiar with it first. Don't try it out just because it's a shiny new toy. Don't roll it out like on in your first live stream, right? Get familiar with it, the ins and outs. Going live, there's always kinks you have to work out. Test it more than once if you need to. Whether it's a teleprompter app, whether it's a new streaming platform, really test it out. Get familiar with it so that you're not focused on the buttons or on the lighting and all that stuff, just so that you can focus exclusively speaking into the camera as you're trying to connect with people on a real human level. That's got to be your focus. If you're fiddling around with buttons and all that stuff, that's going to distract you from doing that. The main way for you to connect is for you to be able to be free of that so that you can focus. And sometimes that's why developing a team becomes really important. At least 1 or 2 people who can help you press the buttons. Get really comfortable with it if you're going to do it. If not, hand it off to someone so you can have that connection with people as you speak into the camera.
Because there's always buttons to push, I'll tell you that. But you can find tutorials on YouTube. I mean, you can go to a billion places where you could just watch and learn and grow your stuff. Part of the problem with live streaming is some of that stuff you can't actually do it until it live streams, but if you have to, do it. Practice, work it out, put in your time. It'll show through. We went on live late yesterday. If you all saw the video we did, we went online because we had to test it and run our stuff, right? So we're doing what we're putting out here. We're not just telling you. We're doing it too.
Absolutely. Well, I think that sounds like that's probably it for now. If you're watching this after the fact, please comment. We'll come back around. We'll comment. We'll find a way to cover it in the next video or whatnot. But you guys, we are praying for you, praying for your Christmas programs. May this be a time where people are coming to get to know Jesus, right? That's our goal, that they can get to know Jesus at this incredible time of year. And so know we're praying for you. Know we're all in one another's corners. Let's support and encourage one another. And let's make 2020 Christmas a week that we can really remember, or an event we can really remember, right? All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We will see you again January 5 at 1 p.m.